All right, dude, you ready?
Ready for what?
This is the ringer. Hold on to it.
What's in the bag, dude?
What?
Don't worry about it, Donnie.
What exactly? What exactly is this ringer? What the fuck is?
Open it and find out.
Why is your underwear in here, man?
I need to give it some weight, don't I? They're gonna be expecting $1 million.
Are we going bowling?
Yeah, because
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. We're not going bowling.
What the hell is this?
You'll find out. Hold on to it for me. Keep it
Why the
safe.
fuck do you have a gun, Walter?
So, how are they gonna contact you? How are they gonna get a hold of you? How are they gonna do it? They send you a letter on a pigeon or something?
No, they gave me this phone.
Fucking amateurs.
It's a really nice phone too. But what? Okay, so hang on. Why do we need the gun, and what the fuck is the ringer for?
Listen, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna give it to the handoff, okay? That's where we're gonna do a handoff, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when we get to the handoff, you're gonna get out there, give him the ringer. I'm gonna sneak around the side with my...
What's a ringer?
Don't worry, Donnie, shut the fuck up! We're gonna get there, and I'm gonna climb out, and I'm gonna grab the first fucker I see as you...
Shut up.
Is that them? Are they calling?
Shut up. Yes?
Who's on the phone,
Yeah, it's
dude?
just me.
Donnie!
Yeah, no, it's just me. There's just some, radio, whatever. Where do you want me to meet? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll be there. Whatever.
Is that the league official?
No.
All right.
Actually, speaking of league, are you excited for this one?
Hey. Just keep driving straight, all right?
You're
There's
right.
gonna be
Keep
a
my
wooden
eyes on the goal.
bridge.
Keep my eyes on the objective. You're right.
Okay, so
What's gonna happen?
back to this.
What do they want us to
ringer
do?
thing.
Their trade-off? We're gonna do a trade-off?
Just drive up to the fucking
Wooden bridge on
wooden bridge, and then they want me to throw the bag of money out the window.
What? Huh?
And the walrus.
Yeah, they want me to throw the bag of money out the window.
Huh?
We're gonna give them the money so we can get the girl back, man.
That fucks up our whole plan.
What do you mean our
Here's
whole
what's
plan?
gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen.
This isn't involving
You're gonna.
you.
Oh, what's
You got
coming
a
up?
girl, dude?
You're like a fucking child. You're so out of fucking frame. So out of context. You're like a child wandering into a movie theater.
Am I out of my element?
You're out of your element, Donnie. You're out of. Don't correct me. What did you just do?
What do you mean? I just did what we were supposed to do. I gave them the money. We're gonna get the girl back, man. Everything's gonna be solved. All
How much
right.
money did you have, dude?
Donnie. This is actually a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. We could have avoided the whole film like that.
You wanna go bowling?
Yeah, Donnie. I think we should go bowling.
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to the Garage Podcast. Third time. Let's start that over. Third time guest, Mike.
Damn it, Michael!
Third time guest, first time host, as you can obviously see. I'm Michael. This is
Sergio.
Who's this?
I'm Sergio. This guy's seen The Big Lebowski the most times out of all of us. I think I've seen it like 3 times. This is my 3rd time. Love that movie.
Yes.
Just from 2 times of watching it, it's just a really memorable film.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Louie. And we're kind of sitting in order from most times seeing the movie to least time seeing the movie.
Even though
There are times
We could switch seats if we wanted to, but that's a
This
lot of work.
movie has been a part of my consciousness for probably about 10 years. I used to watch it with my dad, and then
Dark backstory time.
and then he turned to the dark side.
origin story. This yeah. No,
And there were ninjas. Good stuff.
Yeah, this movie.
How long ago did you watch it when it first came out?
It was probably around that. Probably like 2000.
I wasn't even a thought when this
2000.
movie came out.
But I remember kind of like looking up to the dude and like kind of wanting to adopt his philosophy.
His balance philosophy.
Yeah, his like balance of just kind of going with the
Relaxation.
flow.
It's really fucking awesome. That character's amazing.
Yeah, he is. He's
Yeah.
a really interesting character.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the dude.
We watched The Big Lebowski. If you haven't seen it, kill yourself. No, go check it
Or
out.
you can
Like,
go
That's
watch
what his
check it out.
philosophy is. That's exactly what his philosophy is.
I'm Walter. I have to go hardcore.
He played Walter in the skit. So
Dude, I think Walter was my favorite character in this movie.
by far.
Walter was hilarious.
He was one of the funnier characters.
I know I mentioned it during the movie, but is Walter where the original like back in Nam meme came from?
Well, I mean, in general, like real Vietnam vets probably have like that same era around them, you know.
Yeah.
But I definitely think for sure, like a lot of people, like when they think, Vietnam vet, they probably think Walter from fucking
Yeah.
Walter Potachnik or some shit.
So do you think?
Walter Sobchak?
So check.
Do you think he's actually a Vietnam veteran?
Yeah, I
'Cause,
was
like-
thinking that
or is he
too.
Well,
Like,
is
is
he
he
just-
just?
Or is he? No.
His character.
The character.
Yeah,
Walter.
that's something I wonder too. Did he actually fight in Vietnam? I think
Yeah.
he did, but like just in case, like it wouldn't be
Yeah.
fitting with his character
feel like
to not
he-
have actually. Did.
Yeah,
Well,
because
do
it
you guys
reminds
think
me.
he's kind of going through some stuff in the movie, like he's going through, like he's trying to relive his experience
Yeah, I
in
think
Vietnam
so.
because he
Yeah.
identifies so much with
That
Vietnam.
experience.
So he's trying to recreate it, and this thing with
How he relates everything
the
back to
dude.
it.
Yeah, and this thing with the dude is kind of his in to kind of
I mean, it works.
start some stuff.
I guess that makes sense. Jesus.
There he is.
That makes
That's
sense.
round one.
The main thing
You ready
that
for round two?
the reason I brought that up is because it reminded me a lot of the character from Tropic Thunder. That like the guy who lost both of his hands and now has hooks, but he never actually fought in Vietnam, and like the hooks fall off and he actually has hands. It reminded me a lot of that because like everything that he said was like super stoic, and like even though it's obviously comedic in this movie, it still like had the same like energy, you know, of like being like
The only difference is that it's actually uncomfortable being in a room sometimes with Walter. Like seeing,
Yeah.
it kind of has that same effect like seeing Michael like fuck up his own words in The Office.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Office?
Yeah.
And you know how it gets whenever you watch Michael on The Office. You
Yeah.
know, it's like really
It's
awkward.
cringy.
Mhm.
It's cringy. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
It's almost the same. It's almost the same level with Walter, except it's like worse. You know?
Yeah.
Pulls
Pulls a gun. Am I the only one that
that gives a fuck about the rules.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good scene.
Toes
That
on the
was-
line.
Yeah, we almost did that scene for the skit. We were thinking about doing that one, but we didn't have access to a bowling alley or a board game or anything that
Yeah,
we could.
Cameron
yeah.
doesn't have a bowling
Yeah,
set.
what kind of American are you? Bowling is
Well,
America's
fuck me,
pastime.
right?
Right next to baseball, golf, football. What else is there? Hunting, fishing. The fuck.
So let's go back to the beginning. What do you guys think of? So it opens up on a tumbleweed, and we have this narration coming from Sam Elliott. Is his
Mhm.
name? Who has an amazing voice, by the way. But he
All right,
talks
keep-
about the
keep
dude
it to yourself,
and
son.
kind of introduces him. So what was the
I love that narration, by the way.
Yeah, it was good.
so how did that kind of intro the dude for you guys? Like, what was what came into your mind when he was talking
Yeah,
about
you
it?
guys start with that.
I was
Well,
gonna say like he isn't like because he said that he's not a hero by definition.
He's a man.
Yeah.
What is a
he's-
hero?
What is it?
Yeah.
Well, I was just assuming like, but basically what comics are.
Somebody
like
that
the
fits
guy
into the role. But actually, that's not even it.
chivalrous.
It's like you think that he's supposed to be chivalrous and he saves people and he does all this
Mhm.
shit and he had like intention to do all this stuff
Yeah.
in the beginning, you know.
but he's not.
He just
He's
fit
not.
into this
He's- yeah.
place of the
It's
time.
it seemed a lot like
The-
I mean, like you mentioned this before, that he's just a guy that has like order and way that he does things, and he has like things set up the way that he wants them, and then everything just starts getting fucked up as the movie like gets more and more fucked up as the movie goes on.
Like that opening with the "Where's the
Yeah.
money, shithead?"
Yeah, which great meme by the way.
He had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
That
Completely
whole,
by chance.
it's just he's in the right place or the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And
they just fucking
he's kind of
piss on
thrust into this world that it's a very complex world that he clearly knows nothing about because he
Yeah.
really only knows his own self and his own
And his
life
friends and his bowling
and
and
how to
his beer.
kind of keep his homeostasis
Yeah.
together.
Mhm.
Well, one thing that I noticed too, going back to the intro and the narration and everything, is the first thing I thought of when we saw the tumbleweed, like rolling through the streets of Los Angeles, then like being on the beach, and like it was just like tumbleweeds don't belong there, and I'm like, so this is trying to tell me that someone doesn't belong somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought it was the Sam Elliott narration that his character doesn't belong in Los Angeles, but I kind of realized like it's
Talking about
the dude doesn't belong in a situation that he's in.
Speaking of, who is the Big
Fish out of
Lebowski?
water.
The Big Lebowski?
Who's the Big Lebowski?
Isn't he the
Mm.
business owner guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rich one. Yeah. Well, the rich one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich.
So is the movie about him? So how do we define who Big is though? Because the rich guy.
I mean, he was fat.
Well,
as
physically
shit.
I
He
mean,
was
he's
fat as
physically
shit.
Well,
he's physically
physically
big, but we find out that he's not who he says he is.
Right.
And
try
he's
so
actually he's
hard.
a very small man inside, right? He's
Very
so
vain.
vain, and he's kind of collecting all the things that would indicate that he's a very big successful man. but
The trophy wife.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trophy wife.
He needs all
City.
these things, these status symbols.
In actuality, it was all his wife's success and his, I guess, his
Right.
daughter's success.
Both, I would say. They're supporting him out of pity.
Oh, they give him an allowance too,
Yeah.
and he gives his
Yeah.
bunny an allowance. Jeez Louise, what a clusterfuck!
Yeah.
And the
That was fucking
and the
weird.
dude is just kind of thrusted in there, like Michael said. But not only that, but it's just fun to see his interactions. You know, a dude who has this whole, like you said, he always wants to contain his own status quo. You know, going to bowling, going drinking with his friends, the same friends every single day, and then all of a sudden he's thrust into this universe, into this different world, and his personality kind of like trying to get involved in it, but at the same time like it just doesn't work. It's pretty. For me, it's made clear by literally every time somebody says something or like uses a term or a statement, he picks up on that and uses it the next time he gets the chance to use it.
Right. This aggression will not stand, man. Yeah.
Right after the Kuwait interview about George Bush or whatever, the George Bush interview about Kuwait.
Well, and they talk a lot about cycles in this movie, and I see it as emotional cycles. So, the Big Lebowski has figured out his routine, right? He bowls, he he drives around, he listens to the music.
And he's
listens
calm
to.
when he's doing that. He's him when he does that.
Yeah, he's kept in his homeostasis. So this movie is pulling the dude out of his cycle, right? So now he's thrust into this world where he doesn't know anything that's going on. He doesn't know the world that he's inhabiting anymore.
Makes for some really funny shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking funny.
So he
Yeah.
has to use things like this aggression will not stand because he doesn't know what he's doing, right? So what do you guys think about that?
Oh, I love it. I love every time he uses a word like that. I don't know, man. It's
I just love
funny
how
as fuck.
it spiraled out of control. Just
Yeah.
in almost every single fashion. Like I just love the cab driver scene because that was just so bittersweet on top of everything that's happened to him.
I hate the Eagles, man.
I hate the
I've had a
Eagles. Then he
real
gets
tough
kicked
day.
out of the cab. That was fucking hilarious.
No, I feel like throughout the movie, the more he pushed to try and get back to his normal life, the more it pushed back. You know what I mean? So like the more he fought to like go back to what he wanted to do.
He just wanted his
the-
fucking he
He's
just wanted
wanted-
payback for his rug.
He just
Yeah.
wanted a fucking rug.
But yeah,
man.
that was the thing.
It's
Is
had
like
room
throughout the
again.
whole movie, he's just trying to get his rug figured out. And it's like it's funny because like we see that he is like capable, you know, because like one of the first like things that when he tries to go get his rug back,
He was being influenced. When he kept saying that, he was just reiterating the shit that Walter was telling him. Huh.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Um,
And same with like later on in the movie too. Every time somebody used a word, he just kind of reiterated what they had said in a different way.
yeah.
Anyway, it's cool.
But also in the same way, like Walt, like he said that the girl kidnapped herself, and then Walter was like stuck on that for like the entire movie. It was like the girl 100% kidnapped herself.
So he kind of took it as fact, where it was just the dude was just like
Saying shit
saying
just to
stuff,
say shit.
Yeah,
and he's like, "No, we gotta hold on to this. This is a fact, and we're not budging."
Yeah.
That she kidnapped herself.
As much as we were doubting that if Walter was right, he ended up being right.
yeah. I also noticed something that was funny to me was Walter would he would lose his shit in like very like small like low scale low stakes situations,
Yeah.
but then in like the high stakes situation he was like, all right, I'm gonna jump out of the car, you know, and like just relaxed and like in his element, you know.
Give me that Uzi.
Yeah.
Fucking...
And
How
whereas
many
like
times did the dude crash his fucking car?
yeah, I know.
I know. I'm gonna say
I
it.
feel like the car is kind of like a representation of the story and how like
Oh, like a
because
dumpster fire?
yeah, because like at the end, like by the end of the story, it like well, not I guess not the end, not quite the end, but closer to the end of the story, it gets like destroyed, you know, like completely throughout like the course of the story, and I feel like that's like his like life, and it gets destroyed when Donnie dies actually. It's in the same scene, yeah,
The nihilist light on fire.
yeah,
Yeah.
So let's talk about that scene.
Yeah.
The
That
first
was
a fight. That was
fucking glorious.
Yeah.
Walter, these guys are cowards. They're not going to attack me. And then he actually beats the fucking shit out of him.
Yeah.
He fucking throws his bowling ball at him.
And then he bites his ear off.
The funny thing is, they take every scene in this movie. The Coen brothers do such a great job. Speaking of, Coen brothers directed this film. Great guys. I guess. I've never met them. But they make good films. Actually, I'm friends with
You
Ethan
don't hang
Cohen.
out with the Cohen?
I hang out with Ethan Cohen, but he
That's-
tells me his brother's an asshole. I'm just kidding.
That's
Uh,
actually how we started the podcast. The
Yeah.
Coen brothers were like, "You guys are really knowledgeable about movies. You should do a
Ethan
podcast."
gave me $20, and I was like, "Hey, Louis, I got $20 from Ethan to do a podcast." He could have gave me more, but fuck it. What was I saying? God damn it, I lost my train of thought. I'm just like the narrator now.
You're talking about the brothers. You were talking about how good they did with the scene.
Oh yeah, like every single. Thank you, King.
Don't touch
This
me.
is why he does the ice cream. Anyway, what was I saying? So fucking every single scene is always taken for like the comedic aspect. It's always taken further. You know what I'm saying? Like when he throws the bowling ball at the German, at the nihilist. You goddamn anti-Semites.
Oh, yeah.
He falls down, and not only is he like struggling on the floor, you see his butt crack over
Yeah.
the edge of his
Oh, yeah.
pants. You know, just dumb shit like that. You know, or
Yeah.
like with
That was Flea, by the way, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, it was?
Flea?
Seriously?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
He was the bassist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Interesting.
I had no idea.
I guess bass players really are the useless.
I had no clue. That's fucking crazy. We got to see Flea's butt crack.
So what do you guys think about, so the German nihilist, right? Who Walter thinks they're Nazis, and then he finds out they're nihilists. He's like, oh, this is nothing to be feared.
At least the
That's unfortunate.
National Socialists have an ethos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes me think about like, so the dude is, he's kind of just figuring out it. He's figuring it out as he goes along. He's just kind of himself, and that's all he knows. And he keeps meeting these very extreme characters, who have gone to one extreme or the other, and he's bouncing between these. What kind of stood out to you guys about that?
I like how every single character had like good sides and bad sides. You know, like I don't know how to describe it. Oh, I guess you guys can do it first. What do you guys think about that?
What are you talking about?
Well,
The
extreme
role of extremism
Oh.
as pertaining to the
like the.
Well, you guys are already talking about this, weren't you?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, I think that. Well, like,
Before the podcast, I mean.
like, I think that like Donnie is the extreme of the dude, like where he could, the extreme of like where he could go. You know what I mean? Because Donnie's like 100% out of it the entire movie.
Completely.
He is himself as much as the dude is himself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
His like quirk is to always be like not ignorant, but always behind. You know.
Yeah, he's just always 100% like in his own world, and that like
No, you-
yeah,
And
it
he
created
comes
some
in like every once in a while. He'll hear something he can grab onto and
Yeah.
ask a question,
I'm a walrus.
but then he's like back.
Yeah,
Back into,
and then, like-
Donnie world.
and every time Walter, shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Maybe that's why he does it. I don't know.
Walter and Donnie's relationship was the best part of this
Yeah.
movie.
Why do you think that Donnie angers Walter so much?
Because he's a fucking idiot.
I think, well, I
Why?
think that Donnie and Walter are polar opposites that
Yeah, that's
somehow are in the same group.
Well, so is the dude. You know, the dude, and like you mentioned it. The reason why Walter probably likes having Walter, or fuck, the reason why Walter probably likes having the dude around in the first place is because the dude is like honest in a way. You know.
Well, I think that Donnie and Walter are like the two extremes, and the dude is like somewhere in the middle. I think the dude definitely leads more towards Donnie's character, but he's not. He's far gone enough to be like relaxed, but he's not so far gone that he's unaware of everything going on around him,
He's
which is
engaged,
clear.
yeah.
Which is clear because as the story goes on, he gets like more and more stressed out, which is like against everything he believes in. You know, like getting stressed out is like not something that he should be, right? So, but then because he's still in it and he's like aware of what's happening, he gets more and more stressed out as the story goes on. And then Walter is just always like turned to 10, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
He's outraged by
yeah.
every little thing that comes into his field of
Exactly.
view.
I'm gonna finish my coffee.
Finish my coffee.
Finishing my career.
More calm than you are.
Why
Yeah.
did you
More calm
do
than you are.
that?
Oh, the thing. More calm than you are. Oh, it's cold. Don't worry. You're Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
What?
But anyway, I really enjoy seeing their interactions as friends because it's fun, you know, and they have a really good dynamic.
Yeah.
I remember watching
Yeah.
an interview. I think they did a few interviews between the three of them where they reunited to talk about it, and they said this movie, as far as like talking to each other, was one of the funnest things they ever did. Though I feel bad for Steve Buscemi.
He just got mentally abused during this movie.
But John Goodman does an excellent job. He's a really talented actor. Jeff Bridges, I wish he does more. I would love for him to do more. Steve Buscemi, underrated. You know, he could play.
Yeah.
He could do serious roles, but he's just got a goofy fucking face. Love the guy.
Yeah.
But as far as other characters go, like, let's talk about who's a good character to touch on first.
Maud.
Maud, okay. Like Maud is like the extreme feminist, right? Like she.
All of her art is vaginal.
Yeah. And she used to always talking about how men hate using the word vagina because it's uncomfortable. But when they talk about their Johnsons or their dicks, they have no problem saying it.
Right.
Vagina, right? And she even calls it like a beaver. She calls pornos beaver films.
That was weird.
And her extreme, like, she has good sides, right? But she also has some bad sides, like the shit that's just like totally heartless, you know, where she's like, I pretty much just wanted to fuck you for your seed so that I can have a baby, and I'm trying to ensure that I get pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, dude's like, oh.
Yeah, he doesn't really care. Well, because the only thing he was concerned about is responsibility. He didn't want to have any responsibility.
No responsibility. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Then like other characters, like Walters too, probably could be seen as like, I don't know, right wing or some shit like that. But he's still a really like cool guy, and he's self-aware. You know, he knows when he says stupid shit. He even corrects himself as far as knows who he is. But then again, he still does it, which, you know, at least he knows that he said something dumb or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And like how he always says, "Am I wrong? Am I wrong?"
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning.
Yeah, I think he's checking. He's checking to see if he's. I think he's inside. He's like, shit, am I wrong? But it comes out because of the character he is. It comes out as, am I wrong? Like a kind of
it's
an
like
intimidation.
Yeah.
You better not say I'm fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But I think he really wants to know, and that's kind of why he hangs out with the dude.
That's why he's self-aware. Like he corrects himself on other things. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about.
I don't remember if there is or not, but is there a point in the movie where he says that and then the dude just says yes? Like, he's like, yes, you are wrong.
Yeah. I think it's when they're in the car.
I think so too.
Yeah. I don't remember
You-
the exact context.
Even though Walter doesn't listen when people do tell him he's wrong, the fact that he's like, you know, if he does listen, but he'll every time he hears something that, like, you know, he can't have an immediate answer to, his first reaction is like, huh?
Yeah.
That's his reaction, huh? And even the dude starts doing it later on in the movie when Walter asks the dude a question. The dude's like, huh? It's fucking great. I love it.
That's funny. I didn't notice that. That's actually really funny.
The first thing you'll notice when you see fucking Walter's character, every time he gets asked a question, he's always like, after he's finished talking about what he's saying, somebody asks him a question, huh? That's it. And he like actually thinks about it for a second before he comes with the response. Other characters.
I'll just watch it again later.
Yeah.
Other characters.
I will say, after seeing this movie like 6 times, it never gets old.
Yeah.
This is
It doesn't
where
seem like it will.
No, it's this time around is actually, I got more out of it than I have in the past. Maybe just, you know, from watching it with other people and thinking about talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know Cameron thought it was really enjoyable.
It was really fucking funny. 'Cause
Yeah,
of how
it's
absurd
super
most of the
funny.
things that
Yeah.
happened. Like, he's being trailed by someone, and then he drops his
Private
fucking
eye.
joint in between his legs.
Yeah, and he
And then
pours
he throws-
beer.
he pours-
First he tries to throw it out the window and it hits the fucking glass and lands back in his lap.
Yeah.
And in that scene, he's trying to
That was
he's
so
trying to
funny.
get his homeostasis back. It seems like
Yeah.
he's listening to the Credence pounding on the top of his car, and he's smoking his joint. And he's trying to have a good time, but in the midst of what he's in, he can't even do what he
that.
normally does.
Yeah.
anymore.
It was fucking another time where he crashed his car.
Yeah.
And I
that's-
honestly loved it because there was a
Killed
little
my car.
hop.
Oh,
as well.
yeah,
There was
yeah,
a
that
fucking
was
hop, and that's
good.
when I was just fucking done.
They finally did
I was
it. They
done.
killed
I was
my car.
laughing.
So what's your guys' take on the whole Larry Sellers thing? So there's a part in the movie where the dude's car gets stolen when they have the briefcase full of cash in the car. So they go to the bowling alley, the car gets stolen, and the dude finds a homework assignment from this kid Larry Sellers. So they track him down, go to his house. Do you think Larry Sellers actually stole his car? And if
He was a part of
how
it in
the-
some way.
Right, because Larry Sellers has no dialogue.
He just sits there and
You know
stares
what?
at the
Stonewalls
time.
him.
I think that Larry Sellers' teacher stole his car, and that's why the homework assignment was in there.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just kidding.
Or Larry Sellers' teacher stole the car with Larry Sellers in the car.
Maybe.
Maybe that's
He was
what-
grading.
Or
Yeah, but I say he's grading it
Larry
in there.
Sellers has a tutor, and he gave the tutor that piece of homework to let him look at it so that he could help teach him in the future, and the tutor stole the car.
Jokes aside, I actually have no clue what the Larry Sellers, the whole.
Yeah,
they
I
mention
didn't-
his father. His
yeah.
father is the director, the writer.
Digby Sellers, yeah.
Larry Digby, Arthur
No,
Digby
Arthur
Sellers.
Digby Sellers.
Arthur Digby Sellers is the dude who did like 158 episodes of the show Branded, which was a popular show in like I guess the
Well,
70s.
I mean, maybe it could be a thing because like the dude's whole like mantra is to just relax and have a good time, you know, and like be
Don't take life seriously.
right.
Yeah.
Someone who wrote 156 episodes of a TV show definitely would not have that same attitude. And then when they get to the house,
An iron lung.
yeah, he's inside of that machine because his health is super bad. So maybe there's something there that like he worked himself to death, you know?
Almost to near death. And
Yeah.
Good thing the dude doesn't have to worry about that.
I was just gonna say like it's just another way to like show that his shit like his life's going more shit because
Who, the dudes?
Yeah, the dudes. Because Walter goes to destroy the nice car out in front of
true,
the author's house. But it wasn't the author's car, it was the neighbor's. And then the neighbor takes the crowbar that Walter was using to whack, and he just goes to the dude's car and starts pounding on that.
That's what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
That's what happens to fucking stranger.
Wait, did we watch the same movie?
Yeah.
No, he
That's
says
what
that.
happens when you
Remember?
fuck a
Oh.
stranger.
You went to the bathroom.
I think I went to the
Oh,
bathroom
saying
for that.
Oh yeah.
This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the
Yeah,
ass.
Walter
That's
kept
what
saying
happens,
that.
Larry.
over and over. Yeah.
And then the dude comes out
Okay.
and destroys their car too. This fucking movie.
Yeah.
That must have sounded crazy to you when I just said that.
Well, no shit! I thought I just...
Oh,
I thought you guys like watched a porno when
This
I was
movie is
gone.
endlessly
What the
quotable.
fuck?
You're right. There's just so many lines. The dude abides. They actually have a church of the dude somewhere in like
Oh,
the
man,
Midwest.
I would
Oh,
attend
really?
that church.
I forget what it's called, but it's some dumb shit. I'll actually look it up while you guys are talking. Where's
That's
my phone?
funny.
In my pocket. Yeah, but go ahead.
Fuck me.
Yeah,
Every time.
but okay, so what was it? Larry Fitzgerald? Is that what it was, or Larry?
Larry
Larry
Sellers.
Fitzgerald
Larry
is
little
the
shit.
wide receiver for the.
Oh yeah.
Dudism is a religion, philosophy, or lifestyle inspired by the dude, protagonist of the Coen brothers. Yeah.
Interesting.
Church of the Latter Day Dude.
Oh, okay.
That's funny as fuck.
There's also there's some religion in the movie. So Walter is
He's Polish.
Sol Chavez.
He's Jewish.
Jewish.
And he practices the Shabbos, that Shabbos, which is like the Sabbath, I guess, where he's not. It's the working day where you're not supposed to work.
So Walter changes his religion because of his wife.
And then after he divorces her, stays with his religion.
Stays with it.
Yeah.
But-
Why do you think he does that?
Identity issues,
He's
probably.
clinging to the past. That's why he's still stuck in that fantasy that he wants.
Yeah,
And like he's stuck with his wife. That's why he keeps taking care of the dog.
Pomeranian.
He still considers himself
Yeah.
Jewish.
It's a show dog. It has papers. Yeah.
Walter's like the like all American character, you know, like he's
sure.
a veteran, and he was married, you know, probably like homeowner and all that kind of stuff as well, and probably lived that life at some point. So he's probably still trying to cling on to that of being the like all American, like, and he definitely seems that way because he's always, you know, talking about being a soldier and like that's what he's like proud of, you know. So it's like he's probably still trying to like hold on to that life of being the like all American dream type of guy, you know what I mean? That's what I think anyways, for his reasoning for holding on to the past.
Yeah, maybe. Or it could just be his life sucks, and that's why he has to.
Yeah,
hold on
that's
to
true.
the past. 'Cause that's where he gets a lot of his happiness, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And then I think that him choosing to stay with the same religion is probably some like identity issues of like
I think it's just he completely subscribed to the religion regardless, you know.
well, he's like he sees himself as this thing, and so he has to be that thing.
It
You know
might
what I
have
mean?
something to do with the cycle too. His routine is deeply rooted in this Somer Chavez. Like he's built this routine and he has to stick to it, or else he falls apart. So that's his cycle of what he's doing.
The only thing missing from his cycle is the Vietnam experiences, which is why he's so quick. He's so quick
He's
to
still
jump on
there.
this joyride, you know.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, it's part of that cycle that he should have had all along. With
So
the
this-
Vietnam stuff.
So this thing with the dude then, he sees it as a way to get into his cycle, maybe. Like
To get that part of it back.
right, because when he drives the dude to do the briefcase thing,
The handoff.
the handoff, he's totally out of reality this whole time. He's not really helping the dude in any way. He's kind of
He's almost trying to create more problems.
Yeah.
and because he needs to.
Yeah,
He wants it to last.
that makes sense.
That's fun.
Yeah. No, I was
I don't
gonna.
know about that shit. I just thought it was a fun fucking scene. It's just, I just love seeing it.
Well, because we
fall
did it
apart.
for the skit, so that's why it was fun.
Oh fuck! I was gonna say something about Walter's
You
character.
can say it. There's no restrictions here.
I don't remember what it was though. It had to do with his cycle.
I want to talk about fucking Don Huddleston, whatever, Big Lebowski.
Tom Hiddleston.
Nah, I forget his name. His last name is like Huddleston or some shit. The big guy. The one
Oh,
that-
the old dude.
The funny thing is, like, Philip Seymour
Paralyzed
Hoffman and the dude, the Big Lebowski, kind of look similar. Remember before I watched this movie? I remember the first time I watched this movie, when I was watching it the second time, I misremembered who played who. I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman played the Big Lebowski. Not the dude, but the Big Lebowski, right?
Mhm.
And then I watched the movie, and actually, I knew fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman was in the movie, but I didn't know I forgot that he was the fucking assistant, not the actual Big Lebowski,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when I talk about like extremes and stuff, like we talked about how like he's a fucking character that you know has this whole air of success around him, when in actuality it wasn't his success, it was his wife's success. But, you know,
Yeah.
but he's living the American dream, and
Yeah.
you're a bum, you're a dirty bum, Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Haha, we're the winners. You know, he's very visually.
The bum's lost.
The bum's
Yeah.
lost.
Your revolution is
Yeah.
over.
Yeah,
It was a good introduction to his character, because like I knew something was up when that first scene where we get him where he just won't let it go. Well, like the dude is like over it and like leaving, and he just will not let it go, and it's like screaming at him while the dude's walking out. And then of course the dude is just like, he said I could take any rug.
I love that fucking part. And it's like his assistant's like almost not a sycophant, but he totally worships this guy, even though this guy didn't do anything to deserve that worship. It's kind of like, you know, the extreme idea of like, maybe not capitalism, but like, you know, fucking the higher up people in America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the people that didn't necessarily build their success, but got their success from their parents and still think that was their responsibility.
Yeah.
They even mentioned how like we actually gave our father a company one time and let him run a business, and that failed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't want to get political, but I mean, I think most people watching the podcast don't really care. But it's his character reminded me a lot of Donald Trump in a way.
I don't think he looked like Donald Trump.
No, not physically, but
I'm saying like even emotionally or like representatively.
I wouldn't say.
But well, because of what you're saying, where he was kind of like he thinks of himself as this big businessman, but he was handed most of what he has.
Oh, he's a
You know what I
fake
mean?
Businessman.
Yeah, that's the part that
Donald
that
Trump's
gets
still a
me.
businessman.
He's still a business.
But he was handed everything that he had, a
Well, yeah,
small
he-
loan
you
of
could
$1
say
million.
that Donald Trump is very vain.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
he is very vain.
Yeah,
He
That's
did
what-
make
He's-
more
he's
money
holding
based
up
on what
this-
what he was given. But you're
Right.
right. His start was completely decided on what his father had given him. Small
Right.
loan of $1 million.
Yeah,
More like
exactly.
140 million. Cocksucker.
yeah.
But anyway,
All right.
but yeah, the thing is, he did make that bigger, but that's not the point. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There are
But yeah,
definitely
no.
people-
Anyways, back to that. I'm just drawing that connection.
No, I
It's
agree
good
with
to bring
you.
it to present time, because I think the Big Lebowski is
Kind of
very
true,
relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very relevant.
The whole different groups, you know, like you have, and I think the Big Lebowski, he's influenced a little bit by every single character he interacts with.
Yeah.
Strong men cry too.
Yeah.
Strong men cry too. Like he has to say that, right?
Yeah.
Like, to reaffirm, I'm a strong man. No,
Yeah.
you're not. Relax, bro.
You putty ass bitch.
So yeah, he is. He's a pussy ass bitch.
You putty ass
But so what ended up happening is that he kind of gets a little influence from every character that he experiences, all those extremes, but he never actually lets it change him. He's still the dude, and he's always going to be the dude from the beginning to end. You know, the dude who buys. Politically wise, you know, just like each character represents like a different, like modern look of today. We have the
Yeah.
extreme feminists, we have the extreme right wingers, we have the people that are in the middle that have right wing tendencies. I would say it's like Walter.
Nihilists.
We have nihilists. We have people,
Yeah.
you know, all over the
checked
place,
out and not caring about
not giving a
anything.
shit. We
Yeah.
believe in nothing. You know.
Yeah.
The naive and like Donnie.
We have the naive Donnie. We have, or like the ignorant or whatever. We have
Yeah.
the dude, and the middle of it all is just the dude who's that perfect balance. In
Yeah.
a way, it's like, you know.
Well, he's there in his place and time, and I think getting back to the Sam Elliott narration, he calls him a hero, and
Because
I
he's-
think that's why, because he's exactly who he is in that place in that time. He fits right in there, and it's good that we have people like the dude taking it easy for the rest of us.
All us dirty sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
like-
would you say it almost now bringing all this back to the forefront? It almost seems like all the other characters that are extremes are presenting themselves that way, and the dude is really the only one that is truly himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
like
possibly.
they're all like, because they're all. It seems like most of the other characters are all forcing themselves to be like that. Like you know how like every high school movie is like, oh, I gotta be like this to hang out with the cool kids, and then they're like, oh, but that's not
Well, yeah,
really
that's what
me.
we're trying
It's
to say,
like the
that
same concept.
They're the extreme versions of themselves. They
Yeah.
but even then they have like some good sides to them, but at the same time they have bad sides. Walter's got great sides to him, and it's got bad sides. But of course, even though with the bad sides, we still like him. And same thing with like fucking Maud's character, or what's her face's character, the girl that got her finger cut off.
Yeah.
Bunny.
The toe.
It was her toe.
She's the extreme.
It's a weird looking
$1,000.
It's a weird looking finger. I'm not gonna lie.
I knew it wasn't her finger. I knew it wasn't her toe. My bad. Finger. Fuck. There's a lot of different
Nice.
things in
Yeah.
that movie that are totally related to today, and it's just seeing that character.
Jackie Treehorn. Let's talk about him a little bit. Where do you guys think Jackie Treehorn?
Yeah, where
fits
does he
in all
fit into
this?
that?
Jackie, which one was Jackie
the-
Treehorn?
He was
again?
the
Hollywood tycoon.
Yeah, he was the entertainment producer. The guy who was making
With all the sex.
He made Logjam.
Oh yeah.
The
Okay,
guy who
okay.
he drew the picture of
the dick
the-
and then
the
walked
guy with
off.
the
Yeah.
dick, yeah.
Yeah.
And then drug the Big
What
Lebowski.
what was that like?
Trip?
I think
Was
A
he just
distraction.
coming up with a
I don't
reason to
know,
walk
that's-
away?
This is the part of the movie that I'm still kind of like, okay. But so Jackie Treehorn, he's obviously a guy who thinks about sex constantly. Like
He's like a
that's-
Hollywood tycoon. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, he's kind of radicalized in that way to where, like, even when he's listening on the phone, he's like talking to someone, and all he can think about is a dude with a boner,
Yeah.
and that's what he writes down. And I think, I don't know, but that's showing that he's
His extremity
he's
is that.
consumed by his own radicalization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually a fun way to think about it, because that's kind of what it is. That is what Hollywood is, sex. Gotta have tons of shit here, tons of shit there, and
Yeah.
violence and whatever the fuck. Maybe not the violence part, because we don't see that in the movie, but definitely sex.
Yeah.
Very radical part of it, at least.
Yeah, that's cool. I completely forgot about his character, but as soon as you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, Hollywood.
Because he's the guy that's kind of pulling the strings on this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
he's the
Are they implying
He's
that
the-
the
he's the one
Illuminati
that
is
started
real? the what's it called?
I don't know
The
about
populist
that.
theory or the elitist theory or whatever the fuck?
Okay. Moving
The
on.
deep state?
Deep state. Train that song.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I like how we went from talking shit about Donald Trump to that.
Big Lebowski, very relevant.
That it was a very weird jump, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just that's what the
whole
dumpster fire
movie
like the
is.
movie, you
Yeah,
know? And
that's
it's
what
just,
the whole movie is.
every time you think the film is going to go somewhere like, oh, so I said this earlier. It's like the movie. It's like, let's say you take a 30 episode drama and every episode's an hour long, and the drama is about the lives of these people in Los Angeles, okay? Because Los Angeles is a clusterfuck. And they made a movie from the audience's perspective. Let's say Sam Elliott is the viewer.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott made a whole movie just on the 2 episodes that featured the Big Lebowski scene, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like to me. It's like the rest of the story is going on in the background, but the movie itself is just about the one dude that appears in it for a while. You know, not like literally, but like that's who the Big Lebowski is. That's who the dude is. He's the character that's just along for the ride.
Yeah. I have to think about
like
that.
bigger in the sense of the story.
The rest of my life, I'm gonna think about this movie now.
Yeah. That's good. There's a lot more to it than like.
Visually, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like for a while one of the reasons I didn't watch this movie is because I just wrote it off because it's so quotable that I just kind of wrote it off as one of those movies that's just kind of like dumb and fun, and I never really watched it.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot going on.
If
in
it's a
this
Coen
movie.
film, you need to watch
Well, that's
it.
what I
Yeah.
think the genius of the movie is that it can be shallow. You can
Yeah.
view it as a shallow movie.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And you'll enjoy it just the same. But if you want to look deeper, there's
a
many
lot there,
layers
yeah.
to this movie. There's endless layers. I mean, I've seen it like 10 times, and like I'm still.
Figuring stuff out.
Yeah, this time I'm like, oh, what's this all about? What's going
Yeah.
on here? It's like it's a new mystery to explore. Like every time you watch the movie, and I
Right.
think that's what makes it. That's why it has the cult following that it has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is because of how deep and layered it is, and
Yeah.
how many different interpretations you can take. Because we've had many interpretations of this film.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
all
we've
of
gone
them-
through
all of them are
multiple
just as valid.
interpretations just in this podcast,
Yeah.
like each thing, and
And
like
it's fun. It's just a fun movie
Yeah.
to interpret. Even like, I don't know, man. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, but it's
Fun to talk about. It's a fun film, and that's what the Coen Brothers intended. The Coen Brothers they made No Country for Old Men. They made
Great
fucking Raising Arizona. They made What the fuck? Did they make the
Fargo?
Informant? They made Fargo. That's
Fargo.
right, with Steve Buscemi, and he gets put in a wood chipper.
Mhm.
He gets put in a wood chipper in that one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's fucking awesome.
You were way too excited about that.
It was great. It's a great movie. It's really weird. It's just, a lot of their films. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Tons of very unique films with their own styles, and like that's pretty clear with this. That this one is that. You know, just fun, and it's supposed to be, I don't know, a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
A very
It's a good
fun
movie.
dumpster fire.
Yeah.
A dumpster fire with flowers and like petals and like incense and beautiful and like deodorant.
All right. Well, let's
My timer was off.
think. No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up. Let's pick the movie for the next week. Does anyone have any last thoughts they want to get in before we?
Or should I pick it?
So yeah, I wanted to talk about the ending a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, end it with the ending, right?
No, why would you do that?
Crazy.
What's wrong with you?
But so it ends with Sam Elliott, and he's having a discussion with him, and things kind of, I mean, Donnie dies, but everything is kind of seemingly back to normal, right? Walter and the dude are still, they're still bowling. They're
Who the
doing-
fuck is
they're doing
Jesus
the
in
same
that?
thing. Oh, we didn't even talk about Jesus. Yeah.
Honestly, we're fine. He didn't have any relevance to the story whatsoever. Besides,
We could do a Big Lebowski sequel
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
and it would be just as
Just
well.
based on Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Not
I
Jesus
guess.
Christ. Jesus, John Turturro.
Mhm. But to me, so like one last thought about the ending, I think that's what brings the cycle, is everybody goes back to their normal. Like even though they had all these adventures and they probably learned things in the process, but it came back around,
And they go back to normal.
right where it started, and
Who knows? Maybe there's another adventure in store for him down the line. Hope not, but
dude,
in your mind.
Two.
anyway, any more thoughts from you guys?
I just like. I think that it's a perfect ending to put it on because it just wouldn't feel right for him to have some great story in the end.
Let's
The whole point.
end it with who's your favorite character in the movie? Mine is definitely Walter. Walter was great. This is my favorite one in the whole movie.
Flea.
Flea?
No, I'm just kidding.
The nihilist with the butt crack.
Oh.
face.
Oh yeah.
All right, Cameron, who is your favorite?
I want to say like Walter or the dude. Was it?
I actually think. Excuse me. I actually think the dude, the Wu and the dude that plays the devil in Supernatural, the blonde-haired dude.
Oh yeah.
They're not my favorite characters, but they're my favorite characters to see on screen because as soon as you see them, that's when when shit's gonna start happening.
Yeah.
So when fucking Wu pisses on the carpet and the dude's like, "Where's the fucking money, shithead?" You know, that's where it's the beginning. I like them, not the most, but I really like their characters because when I see them, I think, oh, it's time for the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Donnie, because Donnie's the only character that goes through a real
Character arc. No.
he ends
What character arc?
He ends the cycle.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He's kind of
I mean, by dying, but
But he gets returned to nature.
Yeah.
it ended
By
the
blowing
cycle.
back at him.
that scene was so good.
I'm sorry, and then they hug it out.
But wait, what do I like Donnie? I don't know. There's just something about Donnie.
Yeah, I like
He's-
it too.
Oh, that was so
He's
funny.
there for the ride, and he's just enjoying it.
Yeah.
It seems.
I am the walrus.
Yeah, he's the walrus.
Mhm.
And Steve Buscemi. Come on.
Yeah, we scam
All right.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's it.
Next week's movie.
you.
Thanks for watching,
Wait.
guys.
Yes, good job. This is the next week's movie. Let's hope it's The Dark Crystal.
What is it? I can't even tell. It is Hurt Locker.
Oh.
Hurt Locker.
That's a good movie.
Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker.
All right, see you guys next week on the GarageCast.
Tune in next time. Same garage time, same garage channel.
On Michaelcast.
I'm taking over.
Here's the
Where's-
gun.
where's the gun? I'm
Hold
taking-
us hostage.
I'm taking over. I'm taking over.
Joke's on you. It's a toy.
Come see R2D2 in the Spider-Man cast featuring Michael and yeah.
You guys-
I don't know. Ow! Why did you throw that?
What the fuck?
Ooh, good one.